So welcome to Where Do I Start, episode number 11. My name is Jim Schultz. I will continue to be your tour guide for the remainder of this series. So now we have a nice foundation built. Like we have some really nice building blocks in place in terms of understanding the contract and understanding how we make money or potentially lose money. And then understanding the Greeks. We just got done going over delta and theta and vega. So now we're going to turn our attention now to some more specialized topics. Like I really want to start getting into some deep dives into some specific things related to options trading and specifically options in general. And today what I want to talk about are time and volatility. So let's do a little bit of a deep dive into time and volatility, the two non-directional elements that we like to trade here on the Tasty Network. So remember, whenever you trade an options contract, there's three ways that you make money. There's three primary ways that your P&L is going to move. There's direction, there's time, and there's volatility. Now, direction, again, is delta. We've already learned a little bit about delta. Time, of course, is going to be theta. We've learned a little bit about theta. And then volatility is going to be vega. That's what we just did in the previous lesson. Well, here on the Tasty Network, we really feel like in a market that's pretty random and pretty unpredictable, the most opportunity is going to be with time and volatility. It's going to be with those non-directional elements in the marketplace, because if you can predict direction, then man, you are in a rare crowd. So let's start with time and extrinsic value. So here's the key. When we start thinking about how time might be intertwined with extrinsic value, the main thing to remember is more time means more extrinsic value. And of course, the opposite would also be true. Less time would mean less extrinsic value. They're going to follow each other forward. They're going to follow each other and move in the same direction. Let's take a couple of minutes and let's unpack why that is the case. So if I have more time, there's going to be more extrinsic value. The main reason why this is the case is because think about the contract relationship. Think about the long side and the short side. Who's taking all the risk in that relationship? It's going to be the short side. Like, who is taking all the risk in that contract? It's going to be the option seller. So if there's more time in the contract, so it's 30 days to go instead of 10 days to go, or it's 60 days to go instead of 40 days to go, or what have you, that means there's more risk to the short side of the contract. So that means you are asking, if you are the long, you are asking the short side to assume more risk in that contract because he has to hold that contract for a greater length of time. Well, if there's going to be more risk in the contract, then the short side is going to demand more compensation, right? The short side is going to demand, all right, I need to get paid more for this trade. Like, I need to get paid more to be your dance partner in this little deal that we are indeed going to engage with. So when it comes to time and extrinsic value, understanding that more time leads to more extrinsic value because of the additional compensation that is needed for the short side of the contract is absolutely critical, because when you have an option that has more time, you are going to see that you're going to be able to sell it for a higher price. You're going to be able to sell it for a higher price because there is more extrinsic value in that contract, because there is more extrinsic value baked into that option price. We already looked at this a little bit when we looked at option pricing, and we looked at some things previously, but I really wanted to offer up a deeper dive into this relationship because this is so critical to what we do on the Tasty Network. So more time, more extrinsic value; less time, less extrinsic value. Okay, and now the relationship with volatility and extrinsic value is going to essentially be the same. Like, it's essentially going to be the same for very similar reasons. So we think about volatility and extrinsic value and how are they interconnected? How are they intertwined? Well, more volatility means more extrinsic value. And so less volatility would mean less extrinsic value. Let's walk through the logic chain as to why that is the case. So more volatility means more risk to the short. Why is that the case? Well, that's the case because remember, when it comes to an option contract, the long side, the most they can lose is whatever they pay for it. That is the worst case scenario for them. It doesn't matter how bad it gets. It doesn't matter how wrong they might be. The most they're going to lose is whatever the debit that they put up for the contract was. So it's $3, it's $4, it's $7, whatever. That is their maximum loss. The short side of the contract, again, forget about spreads and forget about other things you might already know in the options world. We're going to get to all those things later on in the series. The risk to the short, though, the maximum loss is unknown. The maximum loss is undefined. And so because of that, if there's a greater level of volatility in the underlying stock, that leads to more and more risk to the short side. Because in the event that there's a highly volatile move that goes in one direction only, then that's going to really hurt the short. So more volatility means more risk. Well, again, more risk to the short means, hey, you've got to pay me more. Like, I need more compensation. Like, I'll do this, but I've got to get paid more to do this. I need a greater compensation to be part of this contract with you. And then again, more compensation means higher extrinsic value. So this is why when you look at option pricing, you see higher volatility leads to higher option prices. That's because there's more extrinsic value in that contract. So now let's hop into tastytrade and let's take a look at a couple of examples of this in real time. Okay, so here I am inside of my tastytrade platform. I've got AMD pulled up. You can see AMD is getting hit a little bit today. The market's getting hit a little bit today, so that kind of makes sense. But if we look at AMD, and we'll look at AMD and maybe one other example. With AMD, let's just look at one cycle. Let's pick a strike in one cycle and then look at the same strike in a later cycle. And what you're going to see is that same strike in the same stock is going to be selling for more in the later cycle. And that's always going to be the case because there's more extrinsic value in that later cycle. So if I open up July with 23 days to go, and if I were to look at, let's say I pick maybe a 35 delta or thereabouts, it doesn't have to be exact. But if I look at a 480 strike put, it's about a 34 delta. You can see that the price of this option, it's all extrinsic value. We learned that earlier in the series because there's no intrinsic value because the option is out of the money right now. And so this is $23 of extrinsic value. And in fact, if I wanted to actually double check that, I could just change this drop down column from implied volatility to extrinsic, and you would see it is the entire option price. That number right there is tracking to the mid price between the bid and the ask in AMD. So the 480 strike is selling for just over $23 in extrinsic value. Okay, let's go ahead and delete that. Let's now go to the August cycle and let's look at the same strike. So if I bring up the August cycle, let's look at a 480 and look at how different that is. So now the 480 strike in August is selling for almost double the premium when it comes to the extrinsic value. And so hopefully you can pretty clearly see more time. We went from 23 days to 58 days. More time means more extrinsic value. And again, why is that the case? Because there's more risk to the short side. So if the short side is taking on more risk, he has to be compensated with a higher price. And then, of course, if you worked in reverse, you would see going from 58 to 23 would, of course, lead to lower extrinsic values. And if we take a look at another example, we'll look at Micron now. This is another stock that's obviously in play right now. Let's look at the 23-day cycle. And you can see that right now you've got Micron at just over 1,000. Let me look at a 1,000, and let me look at a 1050 call. An out of the money call. So this out of the money call is selling for about $96 to $99. Again, the spreads in Micron are rather wide. You know, you can see the extrinsic value right there is kind of going to tell you exactly where that mid price is likely to be right now. So the 1050 call with 23 days to go is selling for about $97.70. Okay, let's go in the other direction now. Let's go to like a 3-day cycle or the 2-day cycle. And let's take a look at that 1050 call. You're going to see it is selling for drastically less. The 1050 call, with only a couple days to go, is about half the price. In fact, I'm even surprised it's that much. But you can see that, again, going lower in time is going to lead to less extrinsic value because there's less risk to the short side. Okay, so that's time and extrinsic value. Now, to look at volatility and extrinsic value, we kind of have to be a little bit more creative with how we set this up. So what I did was I went to the high options volume watch list and I sorted the watch list by stock price. So what I want to do is I want to get two stocks that are about the same price. And going down the list, you can see that FedEx and Apple are very, very close to each other. So FedEx is at about 311. And Apple is at just under 300, but they have fairly different implied volatility. So the implied volatility of FedEx is 36, and the implied volatility of Apple is under 26. And so we have not exactly a perfectly apples to apples comparison, but it's pretty close when it comes to, all right, same stock. And, you know, we've got, you know, trying to control as many variables as we can. We'll look in the same expiration cycle, but we see a significantly different implied volatility. So we should expect to find higher premiums in FedEx relative to Apple. And so let's go look at the option chain and let's see if that is indeed what we find. So let's go to FedEx first. So if I go to FedEx and I go to the trade page and I go to the July cycle, if I just look, I'm just going to look at the at the money or the first strike out of the money. So FedEx has a premium with the first strike out of the money of about $9 or maybe $9.37 based on the mid price. Okay, so that is the premium for FedEx. Now remember, FedEx has an implied volatility of 36. Apple has a lower implied volatility. So when I look at Apple and I look at the first strike out of the money on the put side, I would expect to see a lower premium than $9 in some sense. So if I go to the July cycle, I have a position on Apple, so that's what you see there. But take a look at the 295 strike. It's exactly like what we thought. It's exactly like what we expected. It's only a $6 premium now rather than the $9 premium that we saw in FedEx. And what is the reason why that's the case? Well, there is lower volatility in Apple, so that is going to be a big driving force. So there's a deep dive into time and volatility, two non-directional elements, two things that we trade every single day. I mean, I would argue these might be the two most important things that we trade every single day, and we are just scratching the surface. But now hopefully you understand how more time or less time impacts extrinsic value, or more volatility or less volatility impacts extrinsic value, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.